Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kirusho here. Now, whenever we last left off, Deku, he had just, found out a bit more things about his mother. Along with exactly one more question, that he himself finds a bit odd. Apparently the gem inside his mother's mane wasn't some high-class, corrupted gem that was probably the end of the world scenario. Something he's at least pondered about, along with the fact that it's not that gem creature that had something to do with Peach City's founding. He thought it was, so that's why he didn't mess with it. Apparently, though, it's their ally. An old friend from before the war. Now, we have Amethyst, Deku, and Connie. Mina. Why did I say Connie? Anyways. Now, with that being said, they are all waiting. And eventually, after some time, the warp would activate. Outstepping two people, Garnet and Bismuth. Garnet, she's somewhat trying to keep herself together though. It's a bit more visible. You can clearly tell she's at least a bit more uncomfortable being in the situation. Although, Bismuth, she's just going at a million miles an hour, asking more questions and trying to get answers out of them. Or, the one. Now, eventually, Amethyst will be surprised at exactly who this is. Deku and Garnet trying to give the explanation. One more thing would happen. Deku would immediately jump into Lion's mane and pull out this giant chest, running up to the room he has in the temple house, and actually grabbing the VCR along with the TV, jumping downwards into the living room using his floating power to slow himself down. Bismuth actually seeing a gem underneath that kid's shirt. Going to ask a question before Garnet would just bring her hand up saying to wait. She thinks this might explain everything, as everyone will be getting things set up. Deku and Mina sitting on the ground while Bismuth is on the couch, along with Amethyst and Garnet, as Deku puts in the first tape. Them watching it. It is a tape about exactly who Rose Quartz is. And, old memories of his dad. Rocking this side of the cosmos, and all that. Deku finding this to be a bit odd, even weird. So, is this just old memories? Them watching through it. And actually, Deku just pulling it out of the VCR and tossing it aside, beginning to put in more tapes. Them spending the next hour going through them in the order Rose has them in, especially because they're labeled a certain way. An explanation. This one's a bit more odd, as it takes place in Rose's actual room, something Deku hasn't gone into yet. He's wanted to go in there, but, the temple won't allow him to, so it's clearly locked for some reason. Until the tape would show exactly what's going on. Rose sitting down and putting the camera down too. Just asking the room to create... Now, the room would create 3 items, at Rose's request. Pink Diamond, her gem, Rose Quartz, her gem, a small lion that is pink, and Bismuth's gem. All 4 of these manifesting directly in front of her, as she would then just hold them up. saying that this is an explanation. And, well, I believe that it is needed. It has been thousands and thousands of years, ever since we have saved the Earth. In that time, corruption has taken a lot of our allies. And I believe you may have already fought against some. Hopefully, not sooner than I thought. Garnet has just told me about a possible future. Izuku, I guess? Or Izuki, my beautiful child. Listen, I'm sorry for lying. I just don't want to be who I am anymore. As she would hold up Pink Diamond's gem, a smaller version of Pink Diamond manifesting, and a rose quartz in her other hands. Her just holding out her right hand, saying that this is Pink Diamond, one of the 4 diamonds of Homeworld. Whenever she ruled, she was quite powerful. And as you were possibly told by the gems, as she would just close her hand, and the Pink Diamond poofing, saying that she shattered Pink Diamond. But that is not the case. In fact, I do believe I owe everyone an explanation. She would then move towards Bismuth, saying that Bismuth is a friend of hers. Whenever they were still fighting, she wanted to use a weapon called the Breaking Point. Bismuth actually getting a bit more, well, flustered about this. Trying to at least catch her words, but stumbling over them. Not really sure what to say since the other gems around her are at least staring at her. Garnet, she can feel both of those two's eyes on her, along with Amethyst. As she would just explain the breaking point, it forming on her arm, saying that this is a powerful gem weapon. In fact, I believe it would be very deadly. So, I had to poof Bismuth, before she can discover who I really am. If she finds out that in the middle of the war the leader is the person she assassinated, then that will be harder to explain to her troops. As she would just hold the gem, then moving it towards the lion, saying that there is a pink lion. I hope you have found him one day, or will. If you've probably already seen these if you found him. I'm not sure where to put them. I gave a tape to Hasashi already, and I do believe that things will at least be easier from now on. So, as she would stand up, picking over the camera, saying that she is going to fill them in on everything. And she believes that he needs to get all of them together. Show them this. Especially Pearl. As the camera would just turn off. Deku and Mina just looking back. Seeing Bismuth a bit more, well, saddened by this. She's disappointed in herself. She was fighting for a cause so good, but she got so caught up in it. She understands why Rose Quartz values the gem of her enemy now. Because they are her gems. Her people. The gems she helps to create. They're her trying to think about that. There's really no gem equivalent to a mother. Only a diamond. That is about it. Now, with that being said, they would just think about this. Going to go into the next tape, but, well, Bismuth saying that they should wait. If they're going to be getting an explanation, Pearl needs to be here too. I'll tell you one thing. All this diamond business has got me a bit riled up. So what do you say we at least train the newbie? her pointing to Izuku and Mina, saying that those two look like they could use a good spar. How about it? Them actually heading towards the Sky Arena. Bismuth wanting to test Midoriya, since she's not sure what kind of gem he is. Now, with that being said, they would have began. Bismuth being a bit more surprised, and Deku does actually rush forwards. And he does actually use a sword. Rose's sword, in fact, which kinda makes her a bit odd. As Izuku would just begin to fight her, and go over more and more things. These two colliding blades and actually going back and forth. Bismuth overpowering him in size, but rivaling him somewhat in strength. As she would jump backwards, and go to create a hammer, going to smash it directly across Izuku, as he would just throw up his left arm and create a shield. As soon as Bismuth's hammer smashed into the shield, she would be in shock and surprised. Thinking that this is, well, Rose. Why is she in a new form? As she would have immediately just gone on the offensive, going to smash into this more and more, going to actually breaking it up, along with Mina asking Amethyst exactly what is going on. Amethyst saying that she has no idea, Pinky. Pinky? Well, what? You're gonna need a nickname. Besides, I kinda have one for everyone. Oh, okay. Her at least a bit nervous. Amethyst is one of the cooler gems. Well, the only cool one. Garnet is a neutral party, along with Pearl being the one who is strict enough to balance things out. Now, Garnet would just explain. Now, after they got Bismuth to back off and stop trying to smash Midoriya with a hammer, Garnet would just explain. Izuku isn't a, well, gem. He is, but the answer's gonna surprise you. He's half human. Bismuth not really knowing what that means. Before she would just explain. Humans are the prime species of this planet. Don't you remember the ones that fought in the war? Her just looking a bit more inquisitive about this. Before at least remembering one man who does come to mind. He was a very good warrior, and she does remember crafting his sword. It is too bad that he fell in battle. Now, she would just say that she remembers one. The craftsmanship was amazing, and he needed the weapon badly. And she would go on saying that it's just like that, but it also... Imagine like a fusion. It's both Rose and another human. The product being, well, their own separate entity. Her trying to explain it, as one thing does happen. Midoriya's pocket begins to glow, meaning that Pearl is reforming a bit earlier than they thought she was supposed to. As she would have gone through her transformations, cycled through them, and reformed into her newest one, dropping in and immediately just looking around the ice cave, thinking that she's still there. Before she would just turn around and immediately bring her hands up, gasping very, very loudly. Before at least looking around. She's at the Sky Arena, looking forward to seeing Bismuth along with Garnet. Kinda shocked for a second, thinking she may have been shattered. And this is one of those things humans talk about. Before turning around again to see Amethyst and Steven, along with Mina. Before finally turning back and just, well, running forwards, tackling Bismuth to the ground, saying that it's good to see her again. Now, along with that, they would begin to at least talk more, as over the next 2 weeks they would have gotten things sorted out a bit better. Garnet does at least stick around. Temporarily. Ruby and Sapphire do still sometimes split up, if they need to for a mission, to keep the numbers even on both sides. Now, with that being said, this is whenever Bismuth, she would get filled in about exactly who this Jasper is. A homeworld gem, her favorite. As they would come across her during their next mission, trying to set up a communications tower to homeworlds. Or at least establish one to distract the crystal gems, while they try and fix the warps. Now, with that being said, they would have began their next mission, actually leaving them a bit more scattered and divided. As you have Deku, Amethyst, Mina, and Lion with each other. The other team being Bismuth, Garnet, and, well, Pearl. These three actually splitting up together and actually talking more, trying to catch her up on every single piece of information she's missed. Along with Pearl is realizing that she does know about Pink Diamond now, too. So, as the next mission, they would be going to break up the communications tower. Sardonyx will be needed. Meanwhile, back over at the actual warp pads, they are being fixed and actually repaired, so as to let Homeworld through. Now then, with that being said, this is whenever they would have been cycling through and going through different places, eventually finding the area they are needed to be in, since they do see Jasper just standing on top of a warp pad, holding one of these green balls. And, well, she looks pissed off, turning and immediately creating her weapon, going to attack the gems in front of her, along with finally coming face to face with this runt she's heard so much about. Besides, last time she saw this runt, she at least looked bigger, and was wearing a mask. Amethyst met her as the Purple Puma, but she clearly knew she was a gem. It was a dead giveaway. Now, they would begin to fight, and actually send things a bit more through. Peridot at least telling Homo that they are beginning to repair the infrastructure, and that the forces need to stand by. As the Diamonds, they want to send a small invasion force, instead of themselves. They heard about these whole new crystal gems, along with rose quartz. So they are sending a squadron of Jaspers and Amethyst ahead to fight on their behalf. Since the last time they were together, apparently it was a fusion. And a pearl. So that's lovely. Homeworld thinking that they can just simply overpower this invasion force. Along with this Rose Quartz, who apparently doesn't have her powers anymore. Now, Deku would actually go to fight against Jasper, along with Amethyst rushing in. These two beginning to actually fight against her. Anytime Jasper does go to throw out a punch or try and hit Deku, Deku would have either thrown up his bubble or, well, go to counter it, being able to grab her fist and actually throw it to the side. Shifting her body weight as Amethyst would have pulled her arm forwards, basically yanking her in a single direction. Mina actually trying to use her weapon. Now, I want to say her weapon would be at least a sword or an axe. At least something that would be a bit, different from Midoriya. So let's say it's actually an axe. No, it's a double-handed one, so it does have actual range to it. And the two are trying to fight against her. Now, Amethyst, she would run in, and actually go to attack with Jasper. She is actually being tossed around, as she would summon 2 more whips and go to throw more force at her, hitting her across the face with her whips as it does nothing to Jasper, finding this to be a bit odd. As Peridot has finally repaired the rest of this transport, or the warp pad, and homeward forces are beginning to come through, as Deku would have just done one thing. He would just run over to the warp pad and begin to warp through, yelling that as loud as he can that Homeworld is coming and get to the warp pad, at each location as loud as he can. Until, in the distance, they do see the warp pad activate, and hear Midoriya screaming his ass off. Garnet actually looking into the future and seeing what's happening. A future where Jasper stands up triumphantly, holding a certain gem. That's not good. These 3 immediately running in that direction. Deku teleporting back as Jasper, she is triumphant. The human has been taken down and the creature, or the pink furball, is being surrounded and captured. As one more thing would happen. This is whenever Midoriya, he would actually begin to attack Jasper, going in at her and fighting her, being able to take down these low-level gems, or at least the ones that aren't as strong as her. The real crystal gems coming through. Pearl immediately just beginning to fight, along with Garnet and Bismuth. Jasper a bit more surprised to see a Bismuth. She didn't see one last time they were here. Now, Garnet would have done one thing, running over to the warp pad and immediately smashing down into it, breaking it as she goes after Paradise, who would just take off. Now, after that happens, this is whenever Jasper, she would just order the forces to fight, and for the glory of their diamonds, as things would begin to get a bit more complicated. Mina is actually having more trouble. The other gems around don't realize that she's a human. They think that she's another gem and you can just poof her physical form. Deku running over and immediately just sliding under all of them, throwing up his hands and letting out a loud burst, as the bubble forms around them and he's able to protect her. Him actually falling onto the ground for a second and taking a deep breath, asking her if she's okay. Her just saying that she'll be fine. Deku wiping away one of his tears and actually just patting it under her arm, healing a injury. Now, he would just begin to think and freak out a little bit. This wasn't really supposed to happen. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Gem's beginning to surround and actually bash into the bubble. He sees Amethyst, Jaspers, and, well, that's about it. Big, bulky forces, along with one actually trying to stab a spear into it. Deku just thinking about this, freaking the fuck out. Mina actually turning to him and saying that it's going to be okay. They can figure out a way out of this and it's going to be fine. The crystal gems are here and they have Pearl, Amethyst, and as Garnet would get sent flying through the battlefield, smashing through some of the gems around the bubble and actually just getting back up. Her visor cracked and her a bit more battle damaged, as she would just increase the size of her gauntlets a little bit and rush back in, colliding fist with Jasper, who would just bring her hand up and smash it downwards across her face, before seeing an uppercut and smashing downwards with her helmet. Deku freaking out, as he just let out a loud burst and the bubble would pop around him, seeing the troops flying as him and Mina run in. As soon as they do, though, they would have immediately just punched upwards, a weird light surrounding them, as one fist would come up, smashing Jasper across the face, before punching her away. Now, this would actually surprise the gems. Garnet actually at least smiling, before dropping her head quite a bit, to look at her weapons, decreasing its size and actually walking over, as these two aren't really focusing. Looking down at their hands. Their skin is a lighter shade of pink. Along with that, they're holding Rose's sword. Mina is actually focusing her attention to the shield in her left hand. Wait, what is... I did it? What do you mean you... Huh? We fused! The two actually somewhat getting in sync, understanding what happened now. Bismuth kind of freaking out along with Pearl and Amethyst, while Garnet at least congratulates the new fusion, saying that listen, we can talk about this later, but just know, you are your own separate person. You don't really have a purpose but to be yourself. Or, well, just make sure you're not your components. Her at least is thinking about her two components' stupidity, since one of them used to be literally paired up with two other versions of herself, and the other one was a high-ranking gem, which kinda just threw everything away. It was stupid, but she's glad they did that, because she's a lot smarter than those two. Now, with that being said, this is where this new fusion, I will name what is it? For some reason, the ship name is Izumina, but I just thought Mizuku sounds a lot better. So I'll just be referring to this new fusion as Mizuku, because that sounds a lot easier to say than Izumina. I don't know why people just didn't think of that. Anyways, Mizuku would at least get ready. At least relying on Midoriya's focus and his swordsmanship to fight, Deku taking the wheel. These two actually clashing and fighting with Jasper, as they would have been able to fight her off and actually hold her back, as Jasper would have gone to throw a left punch before something does wrap around her arm, turning to see the one just holding out her whip, before summoning another one and throwing out another one at her arm, beginning to hold her back, as the rest of the gems around her have been poofed. Bismuth is very good at her job, or at least the one Homo doesn't like, being a skilled warrior. Now, Bismuth would have walked over and actually just grabbed onto Jasper, trying to hold her as she just try and squeeze her. She might not shatter gems, but that doesn't mean she's not going to at least poof one herself. Trying to actually do so. Jasper just smashing her helmet backwards and immediately just bringing her legs up, falling back into Bismuth, cracking her gem, as she would have got up and turned around, going to actually shatter this rebellious gem before the Mizuku would have actually sliced through her physical form. Jasper being surprised as she would just poof. Bismuth just standing there watching as a sword is directly directly stuck in front of Bismuth's face. I believe the proper pronouns for this character, or Mizuku, will be they, them. So I will be referring to them as that. That was very complicated, and I almost had a brain fart. Anyways, now, they would hold their hand and pick up Bismuth, her physical form actually at least messing up, Mizuku wiping away a bit of tears from her eyes, and she would just put it on a Jasper Bismuth's gem, fixing her. As she would bend down and actually bubble this Jasper, sending it away, while Peridot, who is watching from a distance, is reporting in. The warp was destroyed along with the crystal gems, or the crystal clods, destroying and capturing their forces. Along with that, I believe the rebel leader, Rose Quartz, just took down your Jasper. And, well, fused with, I believe, a human. Now, with that being said, Mizuku, they are trying to figure this out. The first time they were born was on a battlefield, so as they would just look at Garnet, asking exactly what now. Her just telling them to do what they want. And I believe that you two do need to figure this out yourselves. Try and make your relationship a lot better. I do believe that this may have been on accident, though. So, try and get to know each other better and use your quirks, and you may be able to understand each other more. Meaning you may be able to do this on purpose next time. But, as Pearl would just state that this is still crazy. She can't believe that he fused with a human. How is that possible? Her freaking out. Now, with that said, Mizuku would actually just head back to the beach and walk around outside. This is the first time she's seeing the ocean, but it feels like it's also the millionth. This is amazing. As they would look down at their hands. This is still a bit odd, though. As they would at least, well, the Deku side of Mina, the Deku side of Mizuku would just hold out his hand, or their hand, and go to blast acid. Whenever that does happen, they do blast a large gust of it, getting sent flying several feet. Unlike Mina's regular blast. For them actually being a bit surprised, Deku just holding out his hand and Mina doing one thing. Taking a deep breath in and sending a large blast of fire up into the air. Staring at it in wonder and in awe. This is amazing! Them both thinking that if they're going to get to know each other better, then, well, this is going to be very fun. And a new experience. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. And have an amazing day. I will catch you guys in the next part.